Under date of April 15, 1889, late United States Indian agent reported that certain non-reservation Kootenai Indians located in North Idaho were in a destitute condition, that the whites planning for or already engaging in mining operations were overrunning the country occupied and claimed by them, that they had driven away the game which, up to that time, had constituted the principal support of the Indians. In their appeals for relief, they begged that Washington, the Great Father, be informed of this state of facts. Subsequent correspondence related to these Indians shows that they numbered some 218, that they are strongly attached to their old homes, and that they earnestly desire to secure titles under the provision of the 4th section of the General Allotment Act. Annual Report of the Department of the Interior, Volume 2, June 30th, 1890. Nestled between what is now commonly known as the southern Selkirk and Purcell mountain ranges, the Kootenai tribe of Idaho sits amid the northernmost county of present-day Idaho.
They just use, like we call it, the Kootenai River, our highway. Everybody usually moved down the highway throughout the year for different things along the way, so.
I had the honor of speaking with Angela Cooper of the Kootenai Tribe of Idaho Tribal Council.
This is our land, but we all live here and we need to be willing to share it. All I've seen is everyone working together, and it's great that people seek out our help or they come to us for advice.
But it wasn't always that way.
They wanted us to leave, but my ancestors said, no, this is where we're going to stay. They had no resources. They were given these allotments but had no way to cultivate the land or anything or bring themselves out of the poverty that they were in.
The whole Kootenai Valley, every year in the springtime when the snow melts, all that kind of stuff, it used to flood. The whole valley used to flood, and it used to create many ecosystems.
Before all of the floodplain controls were put in place for agriculture, it's easy to imagine what this place could have been like, where the river is wide and there's many unique critters that are below the surface that are both ecologically and culturally relevant.
Rhonda Vogel is the administrative director of KTOI and a passionate Bonners Ferry community member since 1973.
One of the tribal elders, Ron Abraham, when he takes his kids and grandkids out in the mountains, he reminds them, your ancestors stepped on this very ground at one point. What did they see? Are we seeing what they saw?
So I'm here at the Libby Dam where Lake Kootenai becomes the Kootenai River once again, and there's a number of birds that I can hear. I see some ducks around where the outflow moderation occurs. It's a pretty standard natural soundscape, and yet there's this persistent underlying background hum, very clearly connected to the power that's being generated by this massive volume of water that I can see rippling from below. The Libby Dam functions as a flood control, regulating the flow so that the waters are moving at a more constant rate throughout the year to provide a consistent rate of power as well as to protect people's lands from flooding. I think about the changes that have happened in the last few generations with agriculture, with the Libby Dam, and a primary concern, especially regarding the fisheries in this area, is a change in water flow, which actually compromises the spawning of fish such as the white sturgeon, which they're fighting to recover at the moment. There hasn't been a successful recruitment meaning successful reproduction event, essentially, since construction of the Libby Dam in 1974.
It got to the point where everyone was pretty much dying. Like, that's not really an exaggeration. People were dying really quickly. Ron says that he remembers like a funeral a month. It was that bad, and it was because of the health, like the living conditions were bad on people's health, but not only that, the younger people were becoming alcoholics because that's really all they had to do. They had nothing else to do. They couldn't get a job in town because, you know, the people in town hated them, like those alcoholic Indians.
During the same year as completion of the Libby Dam was the Kootenai War of 1974. Due to conditions of poverty, compromised health, and racism, Amelia Trice became the first and only woman to declare war on the U.S. federal government.
What we call them, our stubborn ancestors, stayed here. They refused to leave. They had the courage to stand up and say, this is enough, we need to do something about this, and so they did declare war on the United States. And this land that we're on now, that's our reservation, this small 12-acre parcel, is what came out of that war. We gained our sovereignty and our right to self-governance in that as well.
I have to say, when I moved here in 1973, I watched the Kootenai tribe rise from the ashes in those years. And it really was an amazing thing to see, to where they are today.
We have faith in ourselves that we have the best science, we have the best employees, we work with the best entities across the board.
And as the renowned Winona LaDuke proclaimed during her president's lecture at the University of Montana,
the leadership for the next economy really must come from outside of the paradigm. And a lot of that leadership is going to come from people who figured out how to live here for 10,000 years without messing it up. So working in allyship, is going to be very, very critical. We need research projects. We need, a lot of different work done. And so we need ethical partnerships that help enhance, not only healing, but restoration. We want our communities to be awesome. And I want to see a lot more partnerships with First Nations and tribes to ensure that, that there's this transition.
As a government, we are in good communication with pretty much every entity that there is around here. Mm-hmm. We're just trying to change people's minds about us to let them know that we're just trying to do good. We're not trying to do anything negative. We're just trying to help the town be better. We're trying to help our tribe be better.
thank you kindly to those at the Kootenai Tribe of Idaho who took the time to welcome me to your lands and share your story generously. Thanks as well to Yellowstone to Yukon Conservation Initiative for funding my journey to Idaho, and to Dr. Rosalind LaPierre at the University of Montana for sharing your expertise. I would like to give credit to the Bees Do Bears Climate Adaptation Project for their audio clip of acclaimed elder Ron Abraham. Soundtrack by Emancipator. Until next time, stay gold, Montana.
It doesn't matter if we have 1,000 problems that we have to solve. We're going to try to solve every one of those problems.